Hi friends, I just wanted to give you a little update on 2020 and how we performed and what our strategy was and what we're going to expect going forward. So as you all know, 2020 was a very interesting year in terms of the markets. I had come just from 2019 with quite a successful year, holding around risk 4 and at 19% profit. And then in January of 2020, everything was fine. The economy was good, but unfortunately, we all know that February and March were absolutely dreadful. And we can see this little memory from I had a screenshot from one of the worst days where we can see the FTSE was down 10% and the German economy 11%, and even the cryptocurrencies were following the markets in terms of just a huge percentage. You look at that, Rolls Royce down at minus 13%, now it's around 130 pence a share. GSK, these big pharmaceutical British companies down 7%, AstraZeneca down 8%, one of those the worst days in March, I think. So anyway, I managed to not sell my stuff and I actually put in quite a big deposit around the bottom of March and then rode all that money up until the end of the year. So if you look at my chart, you can see that it's a bit skewed because the percentages, just because of the deposit, this chart doesn't look a little bit funny, but as you can see from the bottom of March, I've basically gained around 40%, and we're continuing our steady progress throughout the end of 2020 and going into in January, when we're quite positioned quite defensively. So that's pretty much what we see going forward. April 11% up, crazy amounts. That pretty much explains why the risk is so high there. Managed to bring it down to around 4. Going to aim to get around 4 going forward. February probably. You can see a bit slow with copiers, but we managed to get a few copiers towards the end of the year with this 30%. I'm very, very happy with 30%. To be honest, I would have been happy with break even after February or March. And that explains this drawdown of minus 9%. Before it was like max drawdown was like minus 3 or 4%. But it was very, very hard to call the bottom on these months, so I just basically didn't sell anything. I could have sold it stuff and that would have been great, but unprecedented times, we're allowed to make a mistake of not selling. There were other people that were more popular than me and they had bigger losses in those months. So I think what stopped us losing so much is that some of our stocks were actually quite defensive in terms of GSK, even though I had a big drop down there. Some of the other companies were double figure percentages. So this bounce in April, I basically recorded one of the best days here, and as you can see, all the cryptos were doing the same thing. But you can see, look at some of these companies like Ocado, Rolls Royce up 7%, AstraZeneca 4%, 5% in a day. That's pretty big, and there was a few days like that on a row, which is what gave us this big jump in here. So I just want to talk about our current strategy. So in our portfolio, these are the biggest positions. So we have the GSK. It's a little bit down, minus 17%, but I just don't see that company is it can't crash because it's a mainstay of the British economy. It provides healthcare products for millions of people. So for me, minus 17% is acceptable. Plus you've got that 5% dividend a year, which is quite nice. This looks pretty bad, this Rolls Royce, but this is not bearing in mind that the large refund that eToro gave me because of there was an option to buy shares at a lower price rights offering, but eToro didn't give us that, so that's why it looks bad there. But actually eToro gave me a large refund of the money invested, so I'm still pretty bullish on Rolls Royce. They've got a long way to go up in terms of the market. So we can see that I'm holding quite a lot of gold here. I actually reduced a little bit of my gold holdings. This was actually 7% or something, 8% I had of my portfolio in gold, but I've reduced that down to 3.9%, which I think is fine. So then GDX, that's miners, and then I've got a GDXJ, which is minus 2, and I'm in profit in that. So other things now apart from gold, basically you've got AstraZeneca in there. Again, it's down a little bit, but I'm bullish on British big pharma long term. Got some Greggs, one of my favourite companies as a kid, eating sausage rolls when they were like 31 pence. So I'm glad to be making a lot of profit in that, holding that for quite a while now. Yeah, this was a bit of a mistake, but you live and learn, don't you? Oil was, I bought that way too high. Got some Barrick gold on there as well. As I say, you can see I'm quite bullish on gold. I think the dollar is weak. America's just printing money. Got some Centrica in there, which is not doing as well as I'd like. But then I think that's going to come back and recover. Here we have some, so whenever I get into some pretty big results. So we've got this some Norwegian air shuttle, which I've been wanting to buy for a while, but I bought in at like the bottom. So as you can see, I'm up 110% on that one. I've got some positions actually closed and took some profit on it because it was going up a little bit fast. Also got some ETC there, which I've been holding for a long time, but that's gone up quite quickly the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to keep that. That's good. So got some Apple in there, got some Ford. This is basically all my long-term holds that I believe in. Ford is good value right now. A lot of people are putting loads of money into Tesla, but Tesla's like got 40% of the market cap of the world, but they don't make 40% of the cars. So I think I'm just kind of staying away for Tesla. Have bought a little bit of NEO, 1.5%. Got some nice profit so far. Rheinmetall, German military manufacturer. For some reason, I bought that a few weeks ago or a few months ago. Getting some nice gains there, pretty steady. BP, yep, lovely British company. I'm about 50% down, but it doesn't really bother me. I believe that will come back. Got a little bit of FANG here, Microsoft, Google. This is probably my worst trade of the year, Wirecard. Dodgy company, but I thought that all the wickedness had been purged. People were sacked, and they were going to do something with the remains of the company. But unfortunately, it's just going down. So my apologies for that, making that mistake. But I'm not going to sell at a loss here because they've been some of the operations have been transferred over to Banco Santander, and so maybe that will reward the shareholders. We'll wait and see. So the rest of the positions are more kind of speculative things. Don't take them too seriously, but got some nice games on TRXC, medical robotics, arms robotics manufacturer. Thanks for MJ for that call out. Got some XRP in here. Took a bit of a beating recently from the SEC, but we'll see how that court case goes. This is a nice new stock I've added. This car manufacturer, Nikola here. So far, nice gains. So I've got some Wells Fargo. I had that for like a month or two. American, basic staple American company. Stable. I'm going to keep that long term. It's recovering. Anglo American. Then you've got some small positions. Cap is doing quite nicely. Nothing really too major here. Pretty really small amounts. Threw a bit of space exploration in there as well. Long term. Got some Caribbean long term. Got some Boeing. JP Morgan. Gazprom doing nicely. Bought that a few weeks ago. Yeah, and these are just really small. Rio Tinto, British mining company. I actually had that before, but I sold it about a year ago or something. But jumped back in, got some more gains so far. Probably too many positions, but I kind of like collecting them. And just sort of let them sit there in your account for months on end, and the percentage just go up and up and up. And then we've got tiny amounts. Got a little short in there for the dollar. Probably shouldn't be short on things, but you live and learn, don't you? And these are just tiny positions. And this one's funny. I just threw another call out by MJ. So I invested a little bit into that, and I'm up 136%. But this is a wild stock. I would not recommend putting your life savings into that company. So that pretty much is my strategy going forward. I'm quite comfortable with these companies. I believe that as we recover into 2021, these companies a lot of these are undervalued, a lot of these are quite new, some are risky, but if you get 5 times on a risky one, you lose all money in 4 other ones, then you've made your money pretty much back. We've got a lot of gold, so the gold will keep us protect us from any massive fluctuations in the American market and dollar. So as long as we don't have another bad month like this, with the COVID, maybe some bad news comes out that the vaccine doesn't work, or there's a new variant of the virus and the vaccine doesn't work. But we've had a lot of signs about the vaccine, so even if there is another variant that bypasses the vaccines, then hopefully we'll be able to make another vaccine pretty soon, so we won't see these massive drops. If we didn't have these massive drops in a year, then I would be pretty much close to 50%. If these were gains, then that last year could have been even a 60% year, which is way above my target of 1 or 2% a month. So I've still got my target at that rate, 1 or 2% a month, 1.5% a month, but that's assuming I can keep those positive months on end. So I'd be happy between 15 and 20% for the year. Okay, so that's pretty much my strategy, my thoughts of the year. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll make some more videos soon. Thanks.